Hi and welcome to this YouTube tutorial series on how to use basics features in CAD NX. Today we're going to go through Extrude and Revolve. Extrude and Revolve are two 3D features that create 3D objects from 2D sketches. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to use Extrude and all these menus. So let's start by making a sketch, and we'll make a square at first, like so, and then we'll also use rapid dimension to set a distance here at 100, like so, and then we'll use geometric constraints to set all the sides equally to each other. So now the sketch is fully constrained, and now we can move on. So let's finish the sketch and use Extrude. So Extrude is very easy. So we need to select curve, and we want to select the square that we made. So we selected it, and as you can see, we have a starting distance and a end distance. So if we have this set to value, we can choose where it starts. So what that means is that it will start from 0 millimeters from the sketch. And if we put it at, let's say 50, it will start 50 millimeters from the sketch, as you can see. Next one up is symmetric values. So symmetric values, what it does is if you put 500 in, then it's gonna put extrude a square that's 500 millimeters tall in the plus z direction. As you can see, it's the z axis here, and also 500 millimeters downwards in the minus z-axis direction. And it doesn't matter if we choose 200 here, it's gonna be the same thing. So to use until selected or until extended or through all, we need to set up a different scenario. So let's remove this one. Let's make a sketch that or an object that starts at 400 and ends at 500. As you can see, it floats up here. Now we use Extrude again, choose the same sketch. We want it to start at 0, but we want to have the value until next. So what that means is that it will go up to the next object that it can. So in our case, as you can see, it's our square that we made earlier. So it's gonna go up to this square. And next one is until selected. And until selected is the same thing, but we need to select the surface like so, and then it will go up to this surface. So next one up, we have the until extended, and it basically works the same way. We have our starting distance at 0, and we use until extended, and we can choose this surface or this surface, or if we had a datum plane in the middle, we could choose that one. The last one we have to go through is through all, and what it does, it goes through the object up here, as you can see on this half gray, half blue area. It goes onto here and then through it up to here, and this is where it ends. To see how far our last extrude went with through all, we use the function subtract, which is here. So we press subtract and then we choose our target. So target is the large one because that's the one that we want to remove material from. So let's choose this one. And then we choose our tool, and our tool is what we're gonna use to remove material from our target. So let's choose the small box that we used before. And as you can see, the small box is removed completely, and that means that our last extrude went through the whole body. The same thing works with our start values. You can use start values if we have a box here. So it's the same thing. Next one up is bowling. So if we have two objects like this that we want to unite, and unite means that it'll be one body, it will be one body, not two bodies. As you can see right now, these are two bodies. But if we choose bowline and we choose unite, it's gonna be one body. As you can see, we don't have a line anymore, and when I hold over our solid body, it's one single body. And then lastly, we have intersect. And intersect means that whatever this body and this square body have in common, that will stay. Everything else will be deleted. So if we try that out, press OK, as you can see, the only thing we got left is this square, because that's the only thing that these two bodies had in common. So next one up is draft. So what draft does, it creates an angle on the whole body. So let's use start from limit. And what start from limit does, or from start limit rather, this is our start and this is our endpoint. So it will create an angle that starts here and goes like this or like this. So if we take this arrow and drag it inwards, as you can see, we create like a little pyramid. But if we drag it outwards, as you can see, it creates almost like a pyramid, except for the top part. Next one up is start from section. And what that does, it'll start from our sketch. So if we take our angle and drag it inwards, as you can see, it becomes a triangle much faster, and it's a lot smaller because the triangle starts from here. So it goes like this, instead of starting from the base of the body. And we can drag it outwards like this, and it works the same. And then you have angle options, and you have single, which we used just now, and we have multiple. So when you use multiple, you get these 4 points. So what that does is that we can control each side angle by itself. So if we want this left side angle to be bigger, we can pull it outwards. And if we want this side angle to be smaller, we could pull that inwards. And the same thing works here with these two. If we pull it outwards, it will go further out. And if we put it inwards, it will completely remove the object. And the same thing with the fourth angle. it will go outwards or it will go inwards. So the last one we have is offset. And we have three options. We have single-sided, two-sided, and symmetric. So single-sided creates an offset with the outside, which means it will thicken with, in our case, 30 millimeters. But we can choose 5 or 50. And in this case, when we choose 5 or 50, it doesn't change the thickness, just the out, like these sides, not the whole thing. Then we have two-sided, and what that means is if we put in 30 here, it will be the same thing as before, but now we have a huge hole in it, and that's because we have a inner offset as well, and that controls how large the hole should be. But as you can see, we can't use minus because this is how large our original box was. So if we put it at 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter, and then 0 here, as you can see, this inner is our original box, and the outside is our new box that we use with our offset. So if we put in 50 here, you get a really thick one, but with a huge hole in the middle. And symmetric is just as it sounds. It just changes it, but with both the inner and the outer with equal values, instead of being able to choose the start one and the end one like before when we use two-sided. And lastly, in settings we have body type. And what body type is, the thing that we have now is solid, but if we choose sheet, it's gonna create the outside of our square, and this is only used in freeform when we create freeforms, so you can keep it at solid for now. Next one up is Revolve, and we can use our sketch that we had before. So let's choose Revolve. Then we choose our selected curve, and that is the sketch that we made before. So let's choose that one. Then we need to specify a vector that the sketch is gonna revolve around. So the only one that we can choose right now is the ZX. No, we can choose the Z and the Y axis, or the X and the Y axis, sorry, but not the Z. So let's start with the X axis, like so. And then we choose a point that it's gonna revolve around. And we could choose this one, or this one, or this one, but I'm going to choose our origo. So like so. And as you can see, we got a cylinder from that, and that is because it revolved the square that we had 360 degrees. So the way we control this is by these parameters, and we use we can choose value, and then we want our shape to start at 50 degrees, and as you can see, it goes to 50 degrees and then the whole way around up to 0 again, or 360. And we can choose our endpoint in the same fashion. So let's choose our angle to be 180 degrees. And as you can see right here, it has created this kind of pizza shape. And that is start by value. And then we can also choose until selected. So that works in the same way as it did before, and we can choose the selected as our XY plane in the coordinate system, or we can choose a plane that we used before, or we could choose a surface. So let's choose the plane, and as you can see, it goes from 0 to 180 because our sketch is at that plane. And the same thing applies to until selected. So right now it doesn't go anywhere, but if we choose this plane again, it goes 360 degrees. But it doesn't like it because we use the same plane as a start and the end value. So let's choose value. And let's choose our vector again. We chose this one before, but now we want to choose our y-axis. So let's go out of this one, remove it, and start over. So select our curves, we choose our sketch, specify vector, we can choose this one. And then our point, let's choose the same point, our origo, and it does the same thing, but on the other axis. And to show you that you can't use the z-axis, I'll choose the sketch, specify our vector around the z-axis, like so, specify our point at the origo, and it doesn't work because it will have 0 thickness around when we use the z-axis, and that's why it doesn't work. It's because our sketch is at the XY plane. So let's choose another vector. Let's choose this one. Our curve, our vector, and our point. Oh, sorry. I meant this one. So now we can go to Boolean, and it works in the same way. Because we don't have another shape, we can't use unite, subtract, or intersect. So let's create the shape really quickly. Let's go into our sketch. And let's create a circle right here that goes like so. Finish. We need to change our selected curves because since we changed our sketch, our feature is going to want to use the new sketch that we chose, or the sketch that we edited. So the best way is to create a new sketch. So let's do that instead. So let's go finish from that sketch and create a new sketch at the same plane and in the same fashion as before, like so. It's fully constrained, and let's use Extrude for this one, and let's make it 50 thick. No, let's make it 120 and 60, or minus 60, I mean, like so. Let's double check that it's not unite, like so. So if we go back to our Revolve, if I want to choose that one, you see that our square is removed. And that is because in our history tree, our extrude is after our revolve. So if this is my active function, when I choose on it, it will be the active one. As you can see, these two goes gray. So if I would want to choose this one to use my Boolean at, I need to take this one and drag it down the tree. And now I can use this one to use these Boolean functions. But if I didn't, I want to use my extrude, then I can drag it over the extrude one, and now I can use the extrude one as the reference for our Boolean. So let's go the other way around, and this doesn't matter. So let's choose Boolean and let's choose unite. And as I said before, unite just brings them to one body. So let's choose unite and OK. And as you can see, when I hover over it, it's treated as one single body. So let's choose subtract, and now it will subtract the circle that we made from our extrude to with our cylinder, or it will use the cylinder that we made with extrude to subtract material from our cylinder that we use to make a revolve. And that is because we have this as the target, or our revolve as our target, and our extrude as our tool. So let's press OK. So if we choose subtract, the program is going to use our revolve body as a tool to remove from our extruded cylinder because that will be our target. So the revolve that we're in is going to be our tool, and the other things that we want to subtract material to is our target. So let's press OK. As you can see, the tool is completely removed, but our target body is still left, but with a hole from our revolve, as you can see. Then we also have unite. So what unite does, it will see the body that's inside both of them. So whatever our two cylinders have in common, it's what's going to be left as before. So if we press OK, as you can see, the only thing that's left is the body that these two features had in common. So the last thing we have to do is check the settings, and as before we have sheet or solid, and sheet is going to create the outer layer and solid is the whole body. So that's it for today's video. We went through subtract, went through unite, went through intersect, went through extrude and revolve. So these are the 4 or 5 things that you need to be able to create the super basic models. So please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and like the video if you can. It is super fun to see that someone is learning something from my videos. Thank you very much and have a good day.